death is not the end. It is simply the end of your physical body. But your soul, which has no beginning and has no end, is eternal. The awakening process basically means waking up to the fact that we are God expressed through us. We are oneness consciousness. We embody universal love. We're not separate. And once we've achieved this awareness, we've achieved a state of enlightenment. So many sages and gurus of our time have stayed on to in the physical body or come back into the physical body to become teachers, to become healers, and to become guides for others. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when we die. As a medium, as someone who channels messages from the spirit realm, I get this question all the time. And as a self-mastery coach, as a person who's been guiding inner work and transformational experiences for almost 2 decades now, I can tell you that most of the fear that we're operating with is the fear of death, right? The root of our limiting beliefs, of scarcity, of lack. Oftentimes the fear of death can drive our choices, our behaviors, our preferences, and so on, our choice to keep ourselves safe, usually from this idea of dying. Okay, so the fear of death can be a very real, very lived experience for so many of us. And it can also leave us feeling abandoned and alone when our loved ones cross over. It's part of the reason why it makes mediumship so healing and so effective as a tool, is that we now can visit with our loved ones, we can feel our loved ones, we can connect with our loved ones, and we can have the direct experience of everlasting love. Okay, so hopefully today's video will answer so many questions about what death is and what it's not, and how it can bring you peace in your daily life to know that this physical expression of you, this current life that you're in, is a very temporary experience. Okay, so death is not the end. It is simply the end of your physical body. But your soul, which has no beginning and has no end, is eternal. So your soul will transition in those final stages of life when we take our last breath and the body starts to numb itself, and we start to leave our physical self. We start to transition. It's called a transition. It's not an ending. Okay, the reason it's called a transition is because you're transitioning into a different phase for your soul. Okay, so as your soul is leaving your physical body, it will merge into what's called the astral realm. And in the astral realm, usually there is a reunion with loved ones. There is a connection to those that you haven't seen in a while, perhaps people that you've had life with, or karma with, or attachments with, and so on. Okay, and during this phase in the astral realm, there is a period of review. This review period gives us an opportunity to reflect on our life, how we lived it, the choices we made, our karma, what we've cultivated, what we've recreated for ourselves, anything we left incomplete or pending, any soul contracts we may have with other beings as well. Okay, so depending on all of this review, there is a choice, and it's not a personal choice, and this is very important. When we transition, we don't remain individuals. We merge into the collective consciousness. We merge into soul consciousness, which is all of consciousness. It is oneness consciousness. So there's no separation here. There's no individual self. The separateness only exists in 3D reality. In the here and now, where you and I are here physically, we experience ourselves as separate. With spiritual practice and with the connection to universal intelligence, and opening up your channel, you can start to experience other realms even in 3D. Okay, but for the most part, we experience ourselves as separate beings. So when we transition and we move into this next phase, this next dimension, which is the astral realm, we merge into this oneness consciousness, soul consciousness. And from here, what will prompt the soul to either decide to reincarnate or to stay as a guide, perhaps guiding their loved ones or their friends, or even perhaps guiding other souls that are on the same life path trajectory, that are struggling, trying to master the things that they've mastered, or the things that they know they can help master. Okay, so what will prompt the choice? How do I know if I'm reincarnating? Am I going to choose to reincarnate? Am I going to choose to stay on as a guide? Am I going to choose to move on and merge into, God consciousness, like pure enlightenment where I've attained liberation and there's really no need for the human experience again. These are all choices that we can make depending on the evolution of our soul. So depending on where you are in the lessons that you've learned, in the karma that you've cultivated, what you have experienced, if you've been able to embody unconditional love in human form, which is why it's so important for us as human beings on a healing journey to really start to learn how to radically, unconditionally love ourselves, because this helps the evolution of our soul. It doesn't just help the healing process in the 3D here and now, but it also helps the evolution of our soul as we transition into other lifetimes. Okay, and for those, some of us have made a commitment on a spiritual level to reincarnate as many times as we need to, until all souls are awakened. The awakening process is it basically means waking up to the fact that we are God expressed through us. We are oneness consciousness. We embody universal love. We're not separate. And once we've achieved this awareness, we've achieved a state of enlightenment. Okay. And this must be not just an intellectual knowing, but an embodied awareness of being, be even beyond peace, but just pure non-attachment, just pure love, pure light, and pure peace. And this state of moksha or total liberation is available to those souls that have worked on this in their earthly life. Usually takes many, 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 many lifetimes to achieve this state of enlightenment. And then that becomes an opportunity to merge into that consciousness once you've transitioned from your physical self. So many sages and gurus of our time have stayed on to in the physical body or come back into the physical body to become teachers, to become healers, and to become guides for others. Okay, so these are all choices that our soul can make once we've left our physical vessel. Okay, and again, the choice is not personal. The choice is prompted by the karmic influences and the state of awareness of a soul, a conscious soul, leaving its body. Okay, and so important to understand that we don't keep our personalities, we don't keep our likes and dislikes, we don't hold on to grudges, we don't have really any emotions anymore. Nothing is personal, right? We merge into this impersonal, detached, peaceful, universal intelligence, and as we transition into the next life. Okay, so this is essentially what happens when we die. Thank you for watching this clip from Oracle Hour. Join me live every Wednesday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, where you can get your questions answered too. And if you can't wait that long, or you prefer to be in a private setting, then click the link in my description and book your session with me today. I look forward to holding space for you.